MMA was the ultimate goal, but my agenda was to prepare myself and be a complete martial artist. I discovered the UFC when I was about 19 years old on a Friday night with a friend, and he says to me, "Hey George, I've got these tapes of these guys fighting in cages," and I'm like, put it on. so that's when I started, and that was February 1997, and I started training jiu-jitsu twice a week. Got to blue belt 2 years later, and was really competing at those small tournaments locally. And it all started from there, in submission, grappling, and jiu-jitsu, as well as wrestling, because I was wrestling as well. I really spent a lot of time in every discipline. Most of my time was spent in jiu-jitsu because I loved it so much. I started boxing briefly for a short term in 2002, just training, because I had a significant injury so that I couldn't do jiu-jitsu or wrestling, so I just boxed. Then I returned to wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and then continued competing and went to Abu Dhabi. And I didn't miss a weekend. I would go there Saturday morning and we would wrestle from 9 a.m. to 12 midday. And then from 5 p.m., from about 4 or 5 p.m. till about 7 or 8 p.m. at night. And then I would drive back to Geelong and then do my rounds from gyms in Melbourne. I would go to, jiu-jitsu and then to wrestling. And I would just drive for hours between clubs, racking up miles on my car.
Just whatever it took to get the result.
Yeah. So, but I trained like a professional, and I work out, and he's just looking at me, and he says, "Have you trained before?" And I said, "No." Well, I said no, but I mean, I've done jiu-jitsu and wrestling. And he said, by the end of the training session, he says to me, "You train like a professional," because I went there with some real purpose. I had like this goal in my mind that I was going to fight in the UFC. I didn't really tell too many people about it because people laugh at you when you share these ideas. He's not going to do that. He's going to do this. Like they like to laugh at you and minimize you and insult you, but really that's about them. They can't ever see themselves achieving something, so they'll take it away from you.
Can you remember the first time that you made that public? Was that an event in your life to where you were like, you know what, guys, I'm going to go fight in the UFC? Was there a time where you shared that dream on a public enough forum that you remember it?
No, I didn't. I didn't share with anyone. I would just train and then compete. And I remember going to that fight. It was like the biggest, moment of my life because I said two things. First, that was easier than what I thought it was. But then the other thing I said was, thank God for jiu-jitsu.